Jiu-jitsu athletes, what is the biggest issue that we face on the mats as we get older? Well, it's injuries. You see, as we get older, we do not recover as quick as we used to, and our chances of becoming injured tend to get much higher once we pass the age of 30. And what we're going to go through is 4 huge components for our ability to negate our chances of injury so that we can still stay healthy on the mats. Now, let's get into the most obvious one. Are you warming up correctly? You see, the definition of a warm-up is low to moderate intensity to improve the blood flow to the muscle tissue so that we can then increase the contractile force of that muscle tissue, which will increase strength, force, and acceleration. Whenever you increase the blood flow to the tissue, that's going to allow it to become more pliable and more flexible without the chances of anything tearing. Now, let's talk about the warm-up itself. I don't know how many times I've walked into a martial arts gym and we've just skipped the warm-up and we just went straight into drilling, or we've ran around in a circle. This is not an effective way of warming up for jiu-jitsu. If you were warming up for running around in a circle, it would be great, but we're not. And honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. You would never walk onto an Olympic track and field training session and the coach turn around and tell you, okay, what we're gonna do is 10 100-meter sprints, and he's gonna warm me up very, very effectively. However, when it comes to jiu-jitsu gyms, I think the biggest reason as to why warm-ups are skipped so much is because the coaches are masters in their fields, but they're not specialists in exercise science or biomechanics. And I don't think that they understand the importance of warming up. I may be wrong, but I don't know why it keeps happening. And I'm privy to doing it in my past as well. But as I've gotten older, what I've understood is that if you don't warm up correctly, you will get injured. It's as simple as that. So the next time that you go into a gym session, what I want you to do are these 6 exercises. Now, the second most important component to prevent injury is cooling down correctly. Now, this doesn't have to be dragged out. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes long. Whenever you exercise, you build up levels of fatigue. Toxins get circulated throughout the body. And if you don't cool down effectively after just pushing a really, really hard jiu-jitsu round, what's gonna happen is everything's gonna settle within the muscle tissue and it's gonna start to stiffen and tighten everything up. And over time, that builds up to the point where we become entirely compressed, and then one day you just move the wrong way, you tweak your neck. When a muscle is compressed, tension is created. You think about bringing your knee up to your chest. You think about how your elbows are in and your hands are here. But what is compressed? Your chest is compressed, your delts are compressed, your neck is compressed, your hip flexors are compressed. And what you want to think about is stretching the compressed areas of your body. So after your next jiu-jitsu session, try these 3 exercises to alleviate any tension that your body may be holding. Thirdly, one that's mostly overlooked, what are you doing in your day-to-day? You see, if you get up out of bed and immediately just go grab a coffee, quickly get into the car and go off to work and sit in front of a desk, then jump back into a car, go straight to jiu-jitsu, and then start getting contortionized, or if that's even a word, by your partner, then that's also going to lead you into a state of getting injured. Whenever we get out of bed, we tend to rush. But what I've started to do recently is to give myself 15 minutes extra, and I simply stretch whenever I wake up in the morning, or I go through some sort of mobility routine that decompresses my body. You see, even cats and dogs stretch whenever they get out of bed, but we, as humans, we've forgotten it. So when you wake up in the morning, give yourself 5 or 10 minutes and just give yourself a nice stretch and focus on these compressed areas, your neck, your shoulders, and your hips, and perhaps even your knees too. Finally, probably the most important one is strength training. You see, as we get older, we get less time, and what we start to do is prioritize the things that we really want to do. And jiu-jitsu tends to get prioritized over strength training. And there's nothing wrong with this, but the problem is that whenever we start to neglect our strength and conditioning training, we start to break down our body from the jiu-jitsu training. You see, jiu-jitsu isn't designed biomechanically to create efficiency within the joint structures or within our movement patterns. It's a sport, and sport breaks you down. So what you want to start to think about is, how can I prioritize 2 strength sessions per week so that we can start to increase the range of movement within our joints, but also the stabilizing effects that certain muscle groups have for combating the provocative situations that we face on a jiu-jitsu mat. Now, this strength training routine is something that I'm going to go through in another video, but for now, think of these 3 exercises. Okay, so if this video has provided you any value whatsoever, which I hope it has, keep your eyes out, because what I'm going to do is pop out more content that's going to help you alleviate injury rate and also improve your performance on the mats. Good luck, let's go.